Hi, I'm Ronnie from Ronnie's Garage. Today we're holding our monthly tech meet and we're going to be doing a tune-up on a Silver Cloud 3. All right, the way to take off a Silver Cloud hubcaps is through the valve hole. Right there. You don't want to get outside here, even though the tool that comes with it is a spoon. Goes out there, because what happens is you damage these old things. So we'll go get the other one. Just get in there and pry it. They've got these three nubs here that go up against this rim. A lot of hubcaps. Over the years, they will get cracks and they'll get all bent here, and they'll rock on there. So the way you fix it is you take a hammer and pound in this outside until you get it to fit nicely. If you get it too tight, then it's really hard to get off, and you can damage the hubcap there too. Let me throw this over there. Okay, now we'll pull the wheels. These cars have been around so long, there's no guarantee anything is original to the car that is on it now. So these are chromed, so they're probably from an earlier car. Lug nuts on these, right side are right thread, left side are left thread. So on a right thread, lefty loosens. The brass nuts, the torque is 55 pounds, no more. So left, long, clockwise is off. And they all have little, if you look at them closely, they have little arrows with off printed on them, so you know which way is off.
Any reason why they're brass?
You have to ask a British guy. They don't rust. There you go. Great answer. Okay. Just throw this right down there.
Smoke? Here.
Asbestos dust.
Oh.
Take a big deep breath. There you go. See? Spark plugs are right there, right? Where are they? Behind these panels. This is the easy one to get off. The other side's a little harder, so I'm going to get my tool and start. Fortunately, they didn't stitch these on like they did the differential, but there's no shortage of fasteners. That's all I can say. Not for the ones. The ones are, the spark plugs are on top of the engine. But all the V8s on the Cloud, they come out underneath the head, under the manifolds, exhaust manifolds.
Ronnie, would that be the same, like on this street Continental, all the panels would be about the same?
Well, it's the same idea. They are a little bit different, only because the coach-built car has a different hood line and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it's the same concept.
The Cloud one has the same panels, but just doesn't have to be removed.
No, they're not the same panels. No, they don't come off like this. The Cloud ones, you got to pull the fenders to get those inner fender panels off. On the right side, some of them have a little access hole that you can take off to reach in there and change the oil filter, right? No. But no, they're totally different. It's all one piece here. It doesn't have these easy access plates. Can you feel the sarcasm? Alright, and I did drive this car before we put it in. It runs pretty good. Stops pretty good. It's got one problem though. It's got a loose nut behind the wheels, what they call it. It's a common problem. What I've been doing is taking these they're called 1/4-inch bolts out, and the back there, you can see they're 5/16 bolts, so they got a 1/2-inch head. The top two are threaded into the panel. The bottom two have nuts on the back side, so You don't want to do this job when the car is nice and hot because you got to lay your arm against the exhaust. On the cars with the under wing AC unit, and you can look at that car over there, it's got one. There's a big air conditioning unit here. So most of those have been trimmed because you can't get to those bolts. They're buried. So the panel is trimmed, and you can look at that one. You can see it pretty easy. So normally I use an air ratchet on these, but it's pretty loud, so we'll do it nice and easy here. Probably noticed I left one of these front bolts in, and the reason for that is when I'm getting back there on those last bolts, if this is not bolted, they'll get cockeyed and it just makes them harder to get out. And this thing has been painted by Steve, I think, right? Mm-hmm. Had it out. Why didn't you paint the rest of this stuff?
Part by part.
Baby steps, right? What about Bob? We're almost there.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you can see spark plug wires and spark plugs. Brilliant, right?
Easy access.
I'm sorry?
Easy access.
Easy access, that's what I said. If you are small-limbed and pretty dexterous, you can do it. No, that's left and right. I'm thinking of have good dexterity. You can change these from the top, but it can be an exercise in profanities. So if you notice the frame right here, this is a right-hand drive. If you notice this frame, this is a great time to talk about it. See that, how it's got that boss on there, welded on there? And you see that floor panel? There's a big old panel that's screwed in there. That's where the box goes on if it were a left-hand drive. Okay? So when we get to the other side, you'll see that the steering box gets in the way of some spark plugs. So if it was on this side, this back one is pretty difficult to get to, unless you have the right tool. It's going to be the same on the other side. So let's go get the other side off. So you can see there's a little octopus rat's nest mess here. This twine is not factory, just so you know. So it's a much smaller panel, you notice, too. Because over here on this side, you've got the heater box. The heater, and then some models actually have the air conditioning in here, too. Like Gene Tolles is in there. Your air conditioning's in there.
So this is outside the heater box?
This is the heater box right here.
Where you take
It's
the
in
heater
front of the heater box, yeah. No, the proper way to get this heater box off is to pull the fender.
Yes.
And the time to do that is before you paint the car, not after you paint the car.
Oh, no.
We discussed that before. Now, this car also has an aftermarket air conditioning on it, and you can see there's some AC hoses here coming down, and somebody's clearanced this, so it's just going to make it a little more difficult. Let me grab something real quick. Free Willy, and by the way, these are original heater hoses, so that makes them how old? 1965?
Yeah.
Pretty old.
They're in pretty good shape.
53.
They look great on the outside, don't they? So do our arteries when we hit that age. I guarantee your heater doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Doesn't work.
Okay. Correct.
Are there any clouds that do have heaters?
Oh yeah, mine does.
Mine does. You know, a mechanic.
Well, it can cost you some money to get them going, but it really makes a difference. Especially if your wife wears open-toed shoes and she's not real happy about the cold air coming in on her feet. Or if you park outside like I do a lot and you can't see out the windshield, it's nice to have a defrost.
course, it's not helped by the fact that if you're going through wet weather, all the spray from the front wheel is hidden, clean, and it's cooling down the whole fuel all there. And so on a snowy, slushy day, it takes a while to get some full.
But on a snowy, slushy day, these snowpacks are supposed to prevent that, right?
Is that right?
Those are called snowpacks. This is the intake for the heating and ventilation system right here. See, it's strategically located right in line with that tailpipe in front of you at the stoplight. And you know, with the shadow, they have the air intake right up by the windshield, which is a better place, I think. Now these sometimes have another bolt from under here.
Yeah, that's still in piece.
But this one doesn't. Wow. This is like a Chinese puzzle. No offense, Steve. You like that? Sometimes you got to take this out, and hopefully it's not all rusted. Hopefully you had it out though, didn't you?
Yeah.
You had fun with it, didn't you? It looks like somebody modified that to get that out.
Wow.
There we go. Hey, then now you can see 2 spark plugs. There's 2 more. If you look real closely, back here is one, and then there's one that is the not fun one. And by the way, Steve, if your fuel feed hose for this to the engine was the leak, it's not pretty. It's a real pain in the butt to change, because you've got a fitting down here that comes up, and you got to hold both sides. They're usually corroded, so we lucked out. Okay? So let me get some spark plugs.